Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. The season draws close, doesn't it, for Oxford United and League One fans, specifically for me as an Oxford United supporter. Today, I want to be looking at the squad now. Now we've made some really exciting additions, and what is the best starting 11? How will Oxford United line up, not just for the first game of the season against Cambridge, but of course as the season unfolds as well. In this division, it is a squad game. You need a good squad to play a lot of games in a short amount of time. It's really important that you've got the depth in the positions to compete. The best teams in League One normally have the biggest and the best squad depth possible. If you've got squad depth, you'll be successful in this league 9 times out of 10. So it's important that you haven't just got a good starting 11, you've got a good squad as well. But today, I want to be looking at the starting 11, and I want to be looking at what Oxford United and what Karl Robinson could do with the amazing players he's got to offer. We've made some great additions in recent days, as I've just said, in the transfer market. I think it's important now we look at the squad, we look at what he could do, we look at the different formations, how could he set up and how could he get the best out of the players, as hopefully now we prepare ourselves for a really, really exciting season in League One. First of all, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, so make sure you do that. It's free to leave a comment. I'll be responding to all of them as per usual, and as well, leaving a like and subscribing is free and easy. Thank you so much for the recent support on the podcast. Since Chapter 2 kicked off, the support and kindness has been remarkable, so thank you all so much for that. As well, the recent episode I did, that League One predictions for this season, the way that the views, the support, the likes, the subscribers I've got from that is absolutely insane. If you haven't checked that out, please make sure you do. Give it a like as well. If you're new around here, I'm going to be doing up and down the country this season. No, not just in here, not just in the studio, but also going away and going to the different grounds really in League One, up and down the country, and of course in here as well, doing live stuff, live content on the podcast. And for you to make sure you don't miss that, subscribing and hitting the notification bell is the best way of making sure you don't miss out. Anyway, enough of the admin, let's get straight into it. Starting off with the formation that I think Oxford United should go with, and I think Robinson probably will go with. It's going to be the 4-3-3. Quite a usual formation now in the modern game. You sort of are moving away. We're seeing quite a few people move away from the 4-4-2. Maybe 3 at the back. A few people like to use, or some call it the 5, some call it the 3. It depends how you play it, doesn't it? Some people, some might go, with different options. But Karl Robinson has been normally quite set wherever he's gone to sort of go with that 4-3-3, and I think he'll go with that. I don't think he'll change that. Now, of course, there are different ways you can play the 4-3-3. It's about the roles. It's not normally about the positions. It's not really about the numbers. It's more about what those players are doing in terms of roles in that formation. So the 4-3-3 is pretty self-explanatory. We know what Karl Robinson likes to do. He's going to have those wing-backs, or should I say full-backs, as wing-backs going quite forward. But then also as well as helping out, with the cross into the box, the attacking full-backs, he'll also want defensive stability as well. So he's going to want that as much as he is the players going forward. Centre-back, he does like ball-playing centre-backs as well that are good with their feet. The way we like to play, we like to keep the ball, we like to have the ball, we like to dominate the possession. So having ball-playing centre-backs as well is important in the way we like to play. And then going forward as well, it's sort of in that midfield 3. It depends how you do it. A 4-3 you can have as a holding midfielder. We can have one play a little bit deeper, and then you can have him maybe in the pivot, maybe playing as a bit more of a ball-winning midfielder. Some call it the anchor man, some call it the halfback. You can play it in different ways really, but realistically you want a bit of a ball-winning defensive midfielder, a bit of a DM if you like. Some call it the CDM, whatever you want to call it. A bit of a holding midfielder that can sit in front of that defence. You can play that in different ways. Again, like I said as well, you can have it as a ball-winning out-and-out defensive midfielder. The one player that comes out to me when I think that Oxford United is Alex Gorin. He plays that role very, very well, sort of an anchorman defensive midfielder. But then you could also play players like Cameron Brannigan there as well. We saw that last season where he comes in and plays a little bit more, not as a defensive midfielder, but I guess like a deep playmaker, a bit of a deeper midfielder that sits a little bit deeper but uses passing range to then go and make chances a little bit deeper from there as well. So again, that role can be used in different ways. But then also as well, you can have an attacking midfielder as well. Some call it the cam, where you have 2 players and then an attacking midfielder as well. Or you can go with a straight flat 4-3-3. That's quite rare though, but that can be done, the 4-3-3 as a flat. However, you'll then see lots of different roles there. You might have in that 3, one playing a little bit deeper, one playing a bit higher. But normally the 4-3-3 has those different ways of playing. The formation that I've gone with, and I'm doing this, is going to be the 4-3-3 with the one holding midfielder. So that's the formation I've gone with. That should make it a little bit easier to sort of imagine in your minds. I am going to make sure that when I'm editing this as well, as I'm speaking, I'm going to have a little bit of a graphic as well, sort of describing and making sure that you understand where those players are coming in as well as I speak through the team. So we're going to start off going through position to position and then going through the players we've got in there when it comes to squad depth as of now. And then as well as I do that, highlighting the players that from those positions I think should be in that starting 11. So, we'll start off with goalkeeper, and I think, first of all, the two good goalkeepers and the two best goalkeepers at Oxford United we've got a few young players that I think have got a lot to develop and still got a lot more to give, but as of now, the two goalkeepers in that first team that we're going to see next season are going to be Jack Stephens and Simon Eastwood. Two players, I think, two goalkeepers that have got really, really good ability. Simon Eastwood, he sort of, after that playoff game last season, the season before last, and then the start of last season, he really did struggle. He lost his place, he lost that number one space, and then Jack Stephens came in and did a fantastic job of claiming that number one shirt, and he just did a really, really good job. And I thought Jack Stephens, the way he came in, the way he dealt with the pressure, dealt with the situation, I thought he did a fantastic job. It looks like we're going to keep hold of Jack Stephens as well. There's a lot of rumours surrounding maybe he could be on his way out. However, he signed that contract last season. He's going to be staying this season, hopefully staying in this transfer window as well. If we keep hold of him, that'll be fantastic. I love Jack Stephens. He, for me, will be that number one goalkeeper, and that's who I'd go with as my number one. And then at left back, we've got two main options I go with, and that, of course, first of all, we're going to go with Michael Alechi. He's a young player who joined in a youth team, I think, from Manchester United when he got released there. He's been at Oxford now for a few years, and he's really developed and still is developing. He's played quite a lot of pre-season games. I've been really impressed with him, developing game by game as it goes on, and I think he will probably be our secondary left back this season. He'll be the secondary left back behind our new signing, our Josh Ruffels replacement, Steve Seddon. He joined from Birmingham City. We bought him from Birmingham on an underclothes fee, and I think for me, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. He's a left back, left-footed. He's got a really, really good cross on him as well. Like I said as well, Karl Robinson likes to play with those attacking fullbacks, helping out attackingly as well. Steve Seddon can do that, and Steve Seddon has the ability to do that. So I'm really impressed with that signing. I'm really impressed, and for me, Steve Seddon, the number 42, will be my main left back this season. And then at centre back as well, a little bit different. And this is an area I think we will we probably will need to pick up one more player. We believe that it's mystery player that Karl Robinson and the board are trying to bring in. Apparently he's at the training ground as we speak. That's the rumour at the moment, and we believe that is going to be a centre back. But we look at the three that we've got at the club. We've got John Messina, the club captain, very, very experienced. You've got Luke McNally, who again joined in January last year. Still got a lot more to give. I think he again is a player that needs that bit more time. He needs that time, with development. And I think in years to come, or in a few years' time, he probably, or maybe even in 1 year time, I don't know. It depends on the rate of his development as a footballer. But I think he's a good player now, but he's still got a lot more to give before I think he gets into that starting 11. And then you've got Elliot Moore as well, who I think at 24 years old is definitely that number one choice at centre back. And I think we're searching for his partner. We're searching for his centre back partner, and it's not confirmed yet. As of recording, it's not confirmed yet. But I believe the player that we're looking to bring in is going to be Jordan Thornley from Blackpool. He's a player that Neil Critchley at Blackpool said he's surplus to requirements. He's free to leave. And I think Oxford United are looking at bringing him in, probably on a permanent deal. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's a left-sided centre-back, left-footed, and can play left-back as well. So it helps with the cover at left-back. We've only got two players that can play there at the moment. I think he looks to be a really good option. I like the look of Jordan Thornley. I've seen a few things about him. I've spoken to a few Blackpool fans about him as well. They seem quite good. They've got quite decent things to say about him. So for me, I think that would be a good signing, and he could be that mystery centre back. So saying that is him, or it might not be, but I think it's going to be Elliot Moore and the mystery centre back. Whether that's Jordan Thornley, it might be other options as well, but it's going to be Elliot Moore and that mystery centre back as my starting centre back partnership. And then at right back to sort of fully make up that defence, there's no other player I'd say other than Sam Long. Amazing last season, fans player of the year. He deserves that main right back spot. He deserves the spot, and he's going to take that as well. He's taken the number 2 shirt. Of course, Sean Clare's left us as well, so he's able to take that number 2 shirt. And again, at right back, we've got decent players. Again, we've got players that can play there. We've got good depth in that position as well. I think Sam Long definitely is the number 1, and he'll be in my starting 11. I'm sure Karl Robinson's as well. But you've also got players like Jamie Hansen, who, again, he's probably going to be a bit more of a squad player this year, as he was last year. Hopefully Sam Long doesn't get any more injuries, and then Jamie Hansen can come in cup competitions and also push Sam Long. But you've also got Anthony Ford as well, who can play there. He's prominently a right midfielder, but can also play in midfield as well. And then You've got Sam Long as that number one right back. Anthony Ford is a little bit more attacking. He gives that more of an attacking threat at right back. You've got Jamie Hansen, a little bit more of a defensive right back. And then you've got Sam Long as well, I'd say he's probably a bit of both. He's very, very, very good going forward. He's developed that part of his game very, very well. And defensive as well, he's extremely solid. So I like the look of Sam Long. We've loved him last season. We've loved him since he's ever been here. But now he's really ready to make that step as the starting right back. And that makes up my back four and goalkeeper. Moving on then to our sort of central defensive midfielder or holding midfielder, whatever you want to look at. The player that's a little bit deeper. I've gone with Brannigan here, but I know the likes of Goring can do it, and there's a youth candidate, a youth player we've got in our under-18s called Josh Johnson, who's been very, very good in pre-season. I think he's going to be a player that could, really, really watch out for him. I think he's a 16-year-old lad that Karl Robinson really likes the look of, so keep an eye out for him. I would. But for me, I'm going to go with Cameron Brannigan there. And I said I'd go with that deep lying midfielder, if you like, and I've also said there's an option where you can go attacking midfielder as well. And what this 11 gives, and the 11 that I've picked as well, it's really interchangeable. We can play in different ways. We've got a starting 11, but the roles can change as well. We can play with the holding midfielder, but the players I've picked as well can also play in a different way with that more attacking midfielder as well. It's just an example. But I've gone with Cameron Brannigan as that little bit of a holding midfielder, not a ball-winning defensive midfielder by any stretch, because I think his passing range, I think his dribble as well is fantastic. His physicality is really, really good. His aggression. I love Cameron Brannigan. He's a fantastic player. Certainly one of my favourite players Oxford United have got. So happy that he's still at the club. So for me, Cameron Brannigan playing as that little bit of a deeper midfielder, able to use his amazing passing range, able to play with really, really good passing ability, like I said as well. But he can also, when he gets hold of the ball, he can look out and use hopefully the wingers. We've now got some exciting wingers. He can play them in. He can play balls in behind. He can play balls over the top. He's a fantastic midfielder, really all-round midfielder. And I think him as that sort of deeper lying playmaker, deeper lying midfielder, if you like, he can do that job really, really well. And then in front of him, I've gone with Marcus McGuane. He signed permanently from Nottingham Forest. I think he's going to offer that strength, that power in midfield. I've got him as a bit more of a box-to-box, but I can see him getting hold of the ball and driving, getting hold of the ball and causing problems to the opposition. I'm so happy that we signed Marcus McGuane on a permanent signing, and he's in my starting 11. He'd be in my favourite 11 so far. Looking at the players we've got, really like the look of Marcus McGuane. Happy that we've got him permanently. He's definitely in my team. And then next to him, we've got a few options, like I said. We can't, ignore the fact we've got the likes of James Henry. Still, we haven't mentioned. And controversially, I haven't put James Henry in my starting 11. He's 32, but I think he's still got a lot to give. But I want to see a little bit. I've gone with Mark Sykes. For me, it was a bit of a toss-up between Mark Sykes or James Henry. And in the end, I've just gone with Mark Sykes. I think James Henry's a really good player. But he's getting a little bit older now, and I think we need to be a little bit more careful how we use James Henry. Whereas Mark Sykes, I think, is a massive season for him. He's got a year left on his contract after he triggered that extension on his current deal. So he's got a year on his contract. He really needs to prove himself. We know Karl Robinson, a little bit up and down relationship there. We believe it's on good terms as of now. But for me, Mark Sykes needs to take this opportunity massively, and that's why I'd have him in that midfield three. Obviously, a little bit more of an advanced midfielder, a bit more attacking midfielder in there as well. And that's what I mean. You could play a 4-3-3 with attacking midfielder and just have Marcus McGuane and Brannigan, and then Sykes as your more attacking advanced player. Or you could play a holding midfielder with Sykes in that 2 with McGuane. Him a little bit higher, him a little bit more attacking. Marcus McGuane is that box to box, and then a little bit deeper. You could go with Cameron Brannigan there as well. It's versatile. We can change. We've got a flexible structure, a flexible formation. It's really, really good. I think that's probably what we'll go with. And then as we now move on to that, and also as well, I should mention Anthony Ford can also play in midfield as well. I'd probably say 4th or 5th choice now in that midfield though. And that front three, and this is where we've done some serious business in recent days. I've been so impressed with Oxford United's recruitment. We've got a player back, 2 players. Both of the players we've brought back, have been at the club before, and they're also very, very good. They're not just old legends of the club that are now 35 moving into their retirement care home. These are 2 players that have still got a lot to give, who were fantastic when they were here the first time, and now we're so happy to have them back. But we're going to start off with the left, and we're going to go through the options we've got. We've got a young player, Tyler Goodrum, 16 years old. I think he's 16, or he might be 17 years old now. An exciting young player through the youth, and we've seen a lot of him in pre-season. He's really impressed. Karl Robinson seems to absolutely love him. I've seen lots of different things about with Tyler Goodrum. I've seen him play as well in a pre-season friendly. He looks lively. He looks very, very good. Really excited for the future of Tyler Goodrum. You've got a good ram, sorry. Good rum, or good ram, whatever you want to pronounce it. I apologise, Tyler, I've completely butchered that name for you there. You've got Dan Adji as well, who can play on the wing. We've got Joel Cooper, who's now back after that loan spell at Linfield. He's now going to come back and get a big opportunity. He's got to take it with two hands. Billy Bodden as well, who signed. A lot of people have forgotten a little bit about Billy Bodden because we haven't seen too much of him in pre-season. He's played a few inter-friendlies, but now he apparently is now fully fit. He's ready for the Cambridge game, and he is an option, a good option on that wing spot, along with our new signing. We welcome him back on that left side. He can play right as well. I think he will probably be playing on that left prominently, and that is, of course, Nathan Holland, on loan from West Ham. We loved him when he was here the first time. We love Nathan Holland. He's a fantastic player, and we're so happy to have him back, and he's in my starting 11. Nathan Holland picks that left-hand spot. Again, so happy with the options we've got. We've got great depth in there now. I remember we said in that summer special I did on the radio when I spoke to Karl Robinson about his recruitment, he wants his 4-5 wingers. He's got those wingers now. He's got some great options. So excited for Nathan Holland and for the depth of those positions. Nathan Holland, though, is my starting player. He's number 27. He's starting on that left-hand side. And then on the right, another player that's come back. But first of all, let's go through those positions as well. Tyler Goodrum can play again on that side, along with Mark Sykes, who can play on that right midfield spot. Dan Adji can play on right wing as well. Ryan Williams, who we've got from Portsmouth, can also play in that role as well. So again, fantastic versatility there. You've also got, of course, the main man, the one I think we're definitely going to see starting. Fans love him. He's a fan favourite. He was only here for, I think it was 2 years, but we loved him while he was here. We're so happy to have him back. Welcome back, Gavin Whyte. On that right wing spot, I think he's a fantastic option, a player that definitely should be starting, demands a starting spot. Like I said, you've got great options there. You've got Ryan Williams as well. I think it's going to be a really helpful player. But for me, Gavin Whyte is that man. Gavin Whyte's that starting right midfielder. And now with that recruitment, this starting 11 is really coming together. This starting 11 is now forming to become a real force, a real good starting 11. Dare I say it, could be pushing for the top end of the league table. I'm not saying the top of the league table, the top end of the league table. I'll watch my words, I will. But look at that. You've got Gavin Whyte, you've got Nathan Holland, then you've got Sykes that can also play sort of in that attacking hole, if you like, but also play a little bit deeper. It's very, very flexible, as I've said. But those are my wingers, Nathan Holland and Gavin Whyte. Fantastic. Left and right wing places sorted, I would say now. And then my number 9 striker, my number 9 is going to be the number 9 Oxford United. Of course, it's Matty Taylor. We've got a few options, though. We have got a few options. We've got Sam Winnall, who, if he can stay fit, is going to be a really, really good, important player, I believe, next season. Definitely sort of flirted with injuries last season, which really, really annoyed us fans, all of us, and of course, definitely himself as well. It's really annoying when players get injuries. It's annoying for players when they do get injuries, because you feel like they probably do feel like they can go on the pitch and they can make such an impact when you're being held back by injuries. I imagine it's such a frustrating time. You've also got players like Dan Adji who can play up front as well. You've got Derek Osai again. We'll be interested to see what he's got to do and how important he's going to be this season. Maybe another loan move. He spent last season from January onwards out on loan at Walsall. And of course, again, you've got Tyler Goodrum, who again can play any part of that front three, and he's another young player that can play in that number 9 spot as well. And you've got O'Donker as well, another youth player that can play there. But for me, Matty Taylor is that number 1 or that number 9. I keep saying number 1 striker, but it is the number 9. So all in all, that's my starting 11, and that's my best, in my opinion, starting 11 we've got. I'll give a bit of a rundown really quickly. You've got Jack Stevens between the sticks, Steve Seddon at left back with hopefully that mystery centre back. Could it be Thornley? We'll have to wait and see. Next to Elliot Moore. Then Sam Long at right back, and then you've got Brannigan and McGuane in midfield with Mark Sykes ahead of them, or Brannigan a little bit deeper, and then Sykes and McGuane ahead of him. On the left, you've got Nathan Holland. Maybe he's more of an inverted winger. So I believe he is a right-footed player normally, so he can sort of cut in and do that as well. But I'd like to see him on the left cutting in. You've got Gavin Whyte as well on that right-hand side. And then leading the line, you've got Matty Taylor. And as well as that, like I've already gone through today, we've got great depth. We've got great depth now in those positions. We've got a great amount of players in those different areas that can come in and push each other, really pushing each other to get the best out of this squad. I'm so excited. Thank you for watching. I'm really interested to see what you've got to say as well. So make sure, like I said at the start, you leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Today, that was how I would line up and how I think Oxford United could line up for Oxford United for League One this season. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Jack. It's been the Unfan Podcast. We're a little bit different today, but hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in a bit. Take care, stay safe, see you later.